Okay. Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and ring that bell again, just opening or creating our space for our full moon, full hoop practice today. I cannot believe that we're already back here. It's been a whole month and here we are again. So yeah, today's practice, of course, weaves in the energy of what we just experienced Wednesday, that Leo full moon. Also talking about the fourth agreement today, always do your best. I think those two really go well hand in hand. And today's practice is going to be a little bit fiery. We'll create some internal heat. So of course, as always, make sure that as you're moving and you're following my guidance, that you're following the guidance of your body first, adjusting and modifying in the ways that are safe and easeful for you to move. And of course, if at any point you just feel that you need to stop and take a breath, do that. Come back to the center of your personal universe and just take a few breaths and join us when you're ready. So just know that this practice, as any practice that I guide, is your practice. So listen to your body first and follow my guidance second. And because I'm recording, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kate Frautschi. I'm a 200-hour registered yoga teacher, as well as a certified Hoop Yogini instructor and mentor. And yeah, so we're here to share a trifecta practice, a practice that is meant to hit all the areas, body, mind, and soul. So let me grab my hoop so I have it handy. And just so you know what to do to set the space, if you have a hoop, grab it. If you don't have a hoop, that's totally okay. We'll create your own personal space there in your imaginary hoop, your energetic hoop. And we're going to start in seated. I'm going to ask you to just kind of come into an easy seated pose, nice and comfy, nothing to do but sit and breathe. We're just going to come into the space and come into the practice here for a moment before I start to kind of share what I have, and then we'll get moving. So just take a few inhales and exhales, let your body settle and arrive in the space. Nice full breaths, aligning the spine, heart over the hips, heart, or maybe you can imagine the heart floating over the pelvic bowl. Root your seat bones, relax the shoulders, and just breathe. If you'd like to keep your eyes closed as I'm talking, you can. You can keep them open. It doesn't really matter right now. So just kind of bringing into your awareness this full moon. So maybe that means just imagining the full moon, maybe because it's the Leo full moon, that's the lion, it's represented by that. So maybe you imagining a lion roaring, whatever you want to do to kind of recognize and acknowledge that beautiful full moon and the energies that it contains for us to utilize. And then bring in your awareness about what it means to you to always do your best. Take a moment to maybe explore what that feels like and looks like for you. Between stimulus and response, there is space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That is a quote by Viktor Frankl. So much of what we're doing inside of an embodiment practice like this is about widening the spaces between that stimulation and the response so that your experiences in your human form are a little less like a tumbleweed floating through the desert and a little bit more akin to a tree, weathering the changing seasons, shifted and changed, but steady. The Leo full moon energy was fantastic, and we just experienced that on Wednesday. It's a reminder that we're all holding a unique flame within us, and that all of us hold the capacity to be the passionate leader in our own lives, of ourselves. And the fourth agreement, always do your best, is a reminder that when we show up fully, do our best, and be at peace with our best in any moment, there's no regrets or what ifs. When you do your best, your natural leadership qualities rise, shine, and guide the way for yourself and others. When we accept that our best is going to look different moment to moment, we also free ourselves of judgment and shame from ourselves and others. So you can see the potency and kind of weaving these things together. And pulling from the actual book, The Four Agreements, when you do your best, you learn to accept yourself. But you have to be aware of and learn from your mistakes. I think that's really important. Learning from your mistakes means you practice. Look honestly at the results and keep practicing. This increases your awareness. So taking the time to ground into an embodiment practice like this helps to create the awareness and the ability to look at the results of doing our best without judgment. It's illuminating where you can grow and remain steady in the moments of stimulus. Aligning you into your Leo leadership qualities and fueling your passion, ethereal flame of being. So yeah, do your best. Simple phrase, but really not always easy to do. How many times do we choose the easier option because choosing to do our best leads us down a more challenging path? How hard is it sometimes to step beyond the mind chatter and the ego blabber in order to take action in the integrity of doing our best? This is why we yoke the body, mind, and soul in these embodiment practices to practice acceptance, honesty, and awareness. To make space and to remember that that flame that is alive inside us needs that fuel of breath and intention and movement. So as we practice today, take your time, allow yourself to be fully present. Let's go ahead and rise up into standing. Grab your hoop, or you'll create what is known as Tadasana. So as you settle into Tadasana, Tadasana is it's the standing mountain pose. So your feet are hip width distance apart. And you can start to create, if you don't have a hoop, kind of start to close your eyes and create that sacred circle, that boundary, that imaginary hoop that's around you, calling you into the center of your personal universe. If you do have a hoop, hold your hoop horizontal to the floor and grip it nice and loosely. Now take a few moments here and breathe in and out as you start to arrive in your standing posture. We're going to start some music and make 1 or 2 adjustments here. All right, as you're standing in centered pose, let's go ahead and build that up. As you're building that up, I'm going to shuffle some cards here. Your centered pose is hip width distance apart. And for anybody who's watching who might be pregnant, you can go ahead and spread your feet a little bit further apart, giving a little bit of space to help support all that you're supporting here too. So if you have to adjust your stance a little bit, make sure you do that. Ideally, we're hip width distance apart, but again, we're adjusting to where you're at in your body right now. Bending the knees, tucking the pelvis. So that's gonna activate the legs, but allow there to be a bit of relaxation in that support. And as you engage the glutes and kind of tuck the pelvis, you're gonna tuck that navel up towards the solar plexus. And then as you roll the shoulders up and back, let the heart shine and let the heart start to float over the pelvis, chin parallel to the earth. Yes, take a few inhales and exhales and fully arrive in the center of your personal universe. Settle into your body. Start to tune into the space inside. You know it's there. We don't always get a chance to access it in our busy day-to-day life. So allow yourself to really just close the eyes, breathe. Wow. As you continue to breathe and land in that quiet space inside, allow yourself to observe what that feels like. What does that look like? Take a nice big breath and say hello to that interior you that remains unchanged by the passing nature of all things. Still rooted in the center of your personal universe here in centered pose, the posture of present moment awareness. Start to create sound with your breath. So keeping the mouth closed, we're going to engage in the Ujjayi Pranayama, where you're creating a gentle constriction kind of in the back of the throat, allowing the breath to maybe kind of sound like the tide rising and falling, or maybe like Darth Vader breath. You're not constricting the flow of breath, you're just creating a gentle constriction so that you can hear the breath. Yeah, come on back to center. As you become aware of the sound of your voice, become aware of that quiet and still place inside that becomes a little bit more accessible. And as you expand the lungs, lift the hoop now for a breathing lift. And exhale, returning to your core. So we'll do this for a few here. Inhaling, lifting the lungs, lifting the hoop. And exhale, returning to core. Again, keep going with your breathing lifts. Rooted in your centered pose. Fully arriving this morning. Inhale, create space. Exhale, see if you can sense and feel the stillness. Continue with your breathing lifts. Continue allowing an audible breath as you inhale and exhale. Continue to create space on the inhale. Continue to return to core, to return to stillness, return to that ethereal flame within as you exhale. Keep going. All right, moving on. This time as you lift up, kind of adjust how your stance is so you can make sure you're still rooted in your centered pose, heading to side arch flow. So as you inhale, relax the shoulders, arms are extended, hands are on the inside of the hoop. Exhale, arch to the side, hinging at the waist. So if your hips start to come out like that, go ahead and step your feet a little bit wider. Inhale to center, relax the shoulders. Exhale, arch to the other side. So you're really looking for a gentle stretch through the side body. Focusing on using the breath to move. Inhale, inflate, extend. Exhale, arch, hold, release. Keep going, nice and gentle. Continue to breathe. We're gonna be here for a little bit. We're gonna create some stimulus within the body. There's that point where your arms start to get a little tired and you're like, oh my gosh, that's where you breathe. That's where you breathe past, exhale and release, and come back into what you're doing. Awesome. Inhale up to center and then rotate the hoop around an internal column inside of you. Really focus on letting that motion and the movement come from the arms and that upper body. You should be probably pretty still in the core. And again, if you're finding that the hips are swaying side to side, just take it a little bit. Okay, take your halo the other direction. Really starting to feel the stimulus, the activation through the upper body. Keep breathing. And then step together, exhale, lower the hoop. Roll the shoulders up and back and return to centered pose. Feet hip-width distance apart, rooted, knees bent, pelvis tucked, heart floating over the hips, chin parallel to the earth. Inhale and exhale. Take a moment to observe, how did you respond to that stimulus? How did your body respond to the stimulus? What's your body doing now? What about your mind and your energy? How did that respond to your stimulus there and your side arch flow and halos? Breathe in and breathe out. Return to that quiet and still place in the center of your personal universe. Inhale the hoop up overhead and then kind of straighten the legs as you head for a forward fold. So you can rest the hoop either on your back or on the floor depending on what is best for you. And then just finding a gentle forward fold, rooting the feet, letting the legs be relaxed, hinging at the waist, letting the upper body just kind of hang a little bit. So go ahead and grab the hoop at 3 and 9, push down through the feet, point the tailbone down, look forward, start to root to rise up. And then lift the hoop all the way up overhead. So you're in the center of the hoop, and then take another forward fold so that you can place the hoop down in front of you. So from here, what I want you to do is place your fingertips on the earth. Step your right foot back into a high lunge. So we're not going all the way back and going down really low. You can take a nice high lunge. That toe's tucked under, that back right leg is long, the front left leg adjusts so that the knee is still over the ankle and you have just a nice gentle bend. So then you'll grab your hoop and inhale through the core, push down through the feet and your lunge. If you want to rotate the hoop as you come up, you can, and then bring the hoop all the way up overhead. As you do so, then see if you can bring a gentle heart opener in, and then bring the hoop in front. As you bring the hoop in front of you, looking through your full moon in Leo portal, take the hoop and rotate it. So one hand is on the top and one hand is on the bottom. Engage through the core, come back to center, arm, hands on the east and west. As you inhale, exhale and rotate the hoop the other direction. So the opposite hand is on top. And then coming back to center. Taking an inhale and stepping forward with the hoop up overhead. As you exhale then, take that forward fold, pedal the legs out, and notice the difference between both sides of your body. The hoop is in front of you on the floor, and we're just setting up for our lunge on the other side. So step your left foot back this time into that high lunge, nice gentle lunge. Make sure that that heel and that ankle the ankle and the knee are aligned in the front. Gentle bend in that leg. And then grabbing the hoop, pushing down through the feet, engaging through the core and the leg muscles to bring the hoop up. All the way up. Maybe bringing it up overhead. Finding that gentle crescent lunge. So whatever that looks like for you today, and then bringing the hoop back in front, looking through your portal. Nice high lunge, supported, pushing down through the feet. Inhale. Exhale, rotate your hoop so that one hand's on top, one hand's on the bottom. As you exhale, come back to center. Take a nice inhale and exhale. Step forward, inhale the hoop up and forward fold. Pausing here in your forward fold. All right. Push down through the feet, point the tailbone down, look forward, lift up the hoop. Bring your hands to the inside of the hoop. Step the feet wide. Point the toes out. Take an inhale and an exhale in this really wide open pose. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold, resting on your back or on the floor. Letting the head hang. Maybe you want to bend one knee and lengthen the other. And then push down through the feet, point the tailbone down, look forward, lift up. Hands on the inside of the hoop. Headed for around the world. So around the world is an extension of that side arch flow. You want to make sure that you have a nice foundation with nice, loose lower body, but supported, pushing down through the feet, arching through the side, and then rotating around. As you extend, you're engaging the core to protect the lower back. As you exhale and fold, you're pushing down through the feet. You'll continue your around the world. Really bring that breath focus in. You can even roll the hoop on the ground as you come down for an extra little rotation. And then go ahead and pause as you come up to top. Switch direction.
Unafraid. Be calm.
Going at your own pace, following your breath, being safe in the body, responding positively to the stimulus.
It's a state of mind.
Beautiful. Coming back up to life is awesome. Stepping the feet together, lowering the hoop down, fully returning to centered pose. Roll those shoulders up and back, maybe shake anything out as you kind of shake down into centered pose. Root your feet. Bend those knees. Engage through the legs gently and softly. Tuck the core. Up the tailbone. Zip it all up so that heart's floating over the pelvic bowl. In parallel to the earth. Check in with those shoulders again. Maybe roll them up and back. Let them relax down the back. And then take a moment to notice what's going on in your body. Notice the stimulus. Is that flame a little bit more ignited now? Can you feel the heat that's starting to generate within your body? All right, from here, just taking a moment to really appreciate this gift of aliveness, this prana, this life force energy, with an affirmation and declaration. We declare as we lift the hoop that life is awesome. Do it out loud because it feels good. And then as you exhale, lower down. Oh, yes, it is. Affirm that. Again, from every fiber of your being as you inhale and lift, full body trifecta. Life is awesome. And then exhale, lower down. Oh yes, it is. Root into that knowing one last time, inhaling, life is awesome. Then exhaling, oh yes, yes it is. All right, let's go ahead and lift the hoop up overhead. We're gonna move into tree pose. So a couple of things you can do with tree pose. You can just use the hoop as a little bit of a ballet bar. Anytime you're using the hoop as a way to kind of support you out in front of you, you wanna make sure that you're not pushing on the hoop so that it bends like that. It's not meant to do that. It's just meant to kind of be a central focal point for you to kind of keep focus and your balance. Otherwise, with tree, you can put your hoop in between your thumb and your first fingers, and you can have it right at heart center. Root into your left foot first. Go ahead and kickstand the right open, kind of like you're opening a book. So you're squeezing the glutes together a little bit as you open that leg. You can rest the heel just above the ankle, and you can stay there if you want to. Otherwise, you can either come in between the knee and the ankle or all the way up if that's accessible for you. But finding that space where you can really focus in on the breath and the balance, not how high you can get your leg or anything, just allowing yourself to be rooted in your tree pose. So rooting that leg down, kind of squeezing the muscles a little bit, rolling the shoulders up and back so that they open up and squeeze together, kind of creating this central synergy of energy. And then go ahead and find wherever you're at in tree today, find a focal point and breathe. Offering that acceptance to exactly where you're at right now in your balance pose. Beautiful. Looks good. All right. If you want to add a little extra, you can bring the arms up. Relaxing the shoulders, letting the hands kind of create even more of a central channel. And then if you want to add a little extra, you can go ahead and send the leg out. And I usually don't last very long for that. We'll come back to center and release your tree pose on that side. Shake it out a little bit. Ooh. I'm gonna grab a little something to drink here. Go ahead and root into your right foot then. So, or you maybe should grab something to hydrate as well. Okay, perfect. Root into that right foot. And again, open that or side. See if you can really So give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me. Okay, I have no idea what just happened there, but whatevers. Some kind of glitch. Technical difficulties. I thought I got over those at the beginning. All right, so we're about halfway through that tree pose, not letting anything break our concentration. Just take a few inhales and exhales. Slowly come back into center. If you want to lift up, you can. You want to send the leg out, you can. And then coming back into your center. All right, coming back to centered pose, we're gonna move on to centered twist, keeping the energy flowing here. So of course, Feet hip width distance apart, seat bone rooted, rolling up and back. And moving on to centered twists. You'll step to the side, you'll twist, point the back toe, stepping back to center, exhale, twist in the other direction. So a couple of things to think about here is you're not twisting out, okay? You're twisting up from the foot. So as you twist up from the foot, that's going to give you a nice rooted posture. And if twists are a little bit hard on the lower back, you can always just sway side to side with the hips and just let the hips loosen up a little bit. This centered twist is opening those hip flexors. And so even just kind of allowing the hips standing and kind of twisting them like this can help. So your breath work for this is in through the nose, out through the nose. And as you inhale, your center, as you exhale, you twist. So only go as fast as you can keep your breath. Bringing back in that Ujjayi breath and allowing yourself to move at a pace that's safe and comfortable and nourishing for you. Like I said, this is not only opening the hip flexors, but it is also allowing you to build some more detoxifying heat, gives those intestines, that digestive system, a really nice massage. I generally tend to go a little bit quicker with these, but some days it feels really good to go nice and slow. Perfect. Just a few more. All right. Go ahead and plant the feet and come to that swaying motion that I was talking about before. Just kind of swing side to side, closing the eyes, allowing yourself to slowly return back to that still center. As you do that, as you start to find that stillness and feel that start to settle in through your being, bring the feet hip width distance apart and return to that centered pose. Inhale and exhale. Come back to your deepest self again. As you inhale and exhale, bending the knees, tucking the pelvis, aligning the heart over the hips. Rolling the shoulders up and back. See, feel, imagine the breath coming up through the feet to the top of the crown and then back down and out again. Yeah, that still a quiet place feels pretty good. Just let yourself be here for a moment. Breathe, not wondering what's coming next, not worried about what just happened, nothing, just breathing and being in that space. That center of your personal universe, in the middle of your sacred circle. As you inhale and exhale, start to kind of loosen up, shake out, bring the hoop up overhead and just bring the hoop in front of you. We're going to start to step the feet wide so that you can rotate the left toes out. We're setting up in a warrior stance. So just a real easy way, stepping the feet a little bit wider, turning the heel out. And then you'll want to align that front left heel with the arch of the back foot. You're pushing your weight into the outer edge of that long right leg. And then as you bend that front left knee, make sure you're aligning the knee over the heel. So once you find that warrior, you'll have your hoop kind of in front of you. Inhale and exhale, and then bring the hoop up overhead. And then bring the hoop behind you so that you can take some goddess arms, pushing with the forearms kind of on the inside of the hoop to open up the chest. Sink into your lunge a little bit more. You're engaging through the legs, pushing down through the feet, engaging the core. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Go ahead and inhale Take the right hand out of the hoop and slide it down your thigh as you reach the hand with the hoop up towards the sky, opening up through that upper body. Maintain your lunge if possible. And then sliding that right hand back into the hoop, returning to that warrior two. Turn those left toes in. Inhale the hoop up overhead and take a wide-legged forward fold. Go ahead and grab the hoop, push down through the feet, bend the knees to lift that hoop up overhead again. Turn the right toes out this time, bring that bend into the right leg, aligning the heel and the knee, and then pushing into the outer edge of that left foot, front heel aligned with the arch of the back foot. And then as you kind of settle into your warrior, settle into those goddess arms, let the shoulders relax. Beautiful. Sink into that lunge. Notice how this side might feel a little bit different as you inhale and exhale. Just breathe. Slide the left hand down, peaceful warrior. Reach that right hand up with the hoop. Sink into your lunge. Yes, exhale, come back to your goddess arms. Ooh, that looks so pretty. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale, turn that right foot in, heel toe your feet maybe a little bit closer together before you take your wide-legged forward fold, and then settle back into your wide-legged forward fold. In every movement, in every pose, you are getting to know yourself more. You are strengthening your connection with your higher self. You are deepening your ability to access those secret, quiet spaces inside. Press down through the feet. Grab the hoop, lift on up. We're going to centered pose. So as you come back, lower the hoop. Feet hip-width distance apart, and land back into centered pose. Another vinyasa, stimulating vinyasa. So taking a moment to really root into your centered pose. Feet hip-width distance apart, knees bent, pelvis tucked, heart floating over the hips, core engaged, chin parallel to the earth. Roll those shoulders up and back. Big breath. Inhale and exhale and just allow yourself some space here for a moment. Perfect. All right, so we're going to return to centered twist. So stepping out, inhale, exhale, twist. So just coming back to centered twists. That warrior vinyasa worked that lower body. So we're just going to kind of help release any type of tension created from the challenge with these centered poses, nice and gentle. Beautiful. So we're going to take it another step further. As you're twisting, you can stop pointing the toe. We're going to spiral in and spiral out. So as you turn one way, lift the hoop up. And as you turn back in, lower the hoop down. Now this is an opportunity to gently move and create a little motion, a little synergy. Expanding that swirling, beautiful energy up and out the hoop. And then drawing it back down into center, just like we did with breathing lifts. Okay, return to kind of your twisting. And then you're gonna go to the other side. So you were doing spiral outs to one side and spiraling back in. So now you're gonna go the other way. So again, just finding that space where you're taking those nice, spins, and maybe you want to make it really pretty. Maybe you want to dance with this. Or maybe you just want to keep it simple. Either way, it's okay. Ooh. And as you spiral in this time, then find your feet, do a little bit of sway. Just allow yourself to kind of feel that nice little flow. And then coming back into centered pose. Bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, align the heart over the hips. And notice how those swirling motions change the energetics within the center of your hoop. Take a moment to breathe and observe that. All right. As you're standing in your sacred circle, observing, take a moment to breathe in and out. As you exhale, drop into your heart space. As you find that beautiful space of unconditional love, just find a gratitude for today. I saw a little quote on my Yogi Tea, and it said, gratitude isn't about being grateful for what we receive. It's about being grateful for what already is. So take a moment, cultivate a little bit of gratitude for whatever is organically rising up for you in your life. We're heading for inspired lifts with twists. So you'll step your right foot out, you'll lift the hoop, you'll point that back toe, relax the shoulders, really rooted in that foot. And then as you exhale, you'll come back to center and you'll twist in the other direction, just like we did centered twist. So inhale, lift, exhale, twist. So I'll do that so you can kind of see from behind what that looks like. Awesome. So keep going with your inspired lifts and twists. You're inhaling on the lift, you're exhaling on the twist, you're pushing through the foot and lifting up through the body, not lifting out, right? So as you do this, then bringing in the breath and the gratitude. So sending up the gratitude, supercharging it through your motion. And then of course, releasing any attachments as you twist back to the now moment. One more. And then plant the feet, sway side to side. Land in your centered pose. All right, so from your centered pose, then rooting the feet down, coming back to that sacred circle, coming back to that heart space. Take a few breaths in and out, maybe bringing in that Ujjayi breath. Perfect. Finding that quiet and still place inside so that you can drop into that heart space again. Our inspired lifts to the other side are going to inspire a prayer, wish, or an intention that you have for yourself today that you're holding. Let that arise from your heart space. And then stepping out to the other side, lifting the hoop, pointing the back toe, and then exhale, twist. Inhale, lift, point the back toe, exhale, twist. Make sure that you're keeping those shoulders relaxed. And then once you have the physical movement kind of in that muscle memory, starting to bring in that breath awareness and the awareness of whatever it is that you're sending up, whatever prayer, wish, or intention that it is that you want to send out. You want to supercharge with that body, that breath, that movement. Beautiful. One more. And then sway side to side, coming back into center, closing the eyes and just feeling all of that really high vibrating energy that you've cultivated in your hoop throughout your practice, within your sacred circle, your sacred boundary. Also just taking the moment to acknowledge that by showing up for a practice, you are committing to do your best, to be your best. And then stepping into centered pose completely, rooting into that quiet and still place inside. Bend the knees, tuck the pelvis, heart aligns over the hips. 3 cleansing breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah, inhale the hoop all the way up overhead. And then as you exhale, go ahead and take a nice standing forward fold. And know that as you're ready, you can come down into your easy seated pose again. As you come down into your easy seated pose, just kind of feel that release, that relaxation of returning to that earth seat, returning to that. Go ahead and close the eyes. Line the heart over the hips. We're going to take these last few moments in practice today for breath and reflection and intention. So as you're seated and kind of finding that space in this new posture of seated, still in the center of your hoop, still in the center of your sacred circle, still very much present to your practice today, right now. As you start to breathe and become fully aware and focused on the breath, bring a hand to the chest and a hand to the belly. And as you breathe, see if you can really expand in all ways with the breath. And as we reflect on what it means to always do our best, knowing that that looks different from moment to moment. They're free. And as the illuminating rays of the Leo full moon fade into the next part of the cycle, I have a few questions I'd like you to reflect on here in this space. As you breathe, allow the breath to come in and out. Allow the breath to be the focal point, the channel. Allowing yourself to be in a state of observation and non-judgment. Imagine yourself sitting in a serene, beautiful space, whatever that looks like to you. The full moon shining on you, so bright that it almost looks like day. Where in your life are you learning to lead? Breathe in and breathe out and let your higher self answer that. What does heart-centered leadership look like to you? See, feel, imagine that heart-centered leadership as you are in your serene place, illuminated by that full moon. What part of your creative process is undergoing a renewal. What part of your creative process is undergoing a renewal? Breathe in and breathe out again, letting that higher self just kind of let those patience arise. And lastly, as you inhale and exhale, really keep yourself in that serene, safe place, illuminated so fully by that full moon. Sitting in your knowing, sitting in this moment, sitting in your power. What does it feel like in your body when you are in your power? Take a moment to bring that up. Remember that, feel that. Nobody can take that from you. As you inhale, call any pieces of your power in that may still be lingering outside of the hoop. Another inhale and exhale, feel that return to you and root you more into that state of being like a tree, weathering the seasons, but remaining steady. Before we move out of this space of reflection, we have two messages today from the deck, which are awesome. The first message came through, Hecate came through today, our torch bearer, the guidance through the darkness and being of service. Very much leadership qualities there. And the other one that came up was in memoriam, ancestor work, giving back, and thanksgiving. How are we leading from that heart center in memoriam to the work that our ancestors done? How can we give back to all that the universe pours into us? And how can we make each moment a thanksgiving of all that is around us? So if it feels right and comfortable for you to just kind of invite Hecate to light the way for you. She is the torchbearer. She stands at the crossroads. She is the light through the darkness. Let all of this land where it may, being open to the guidance messages and realizations all around you as you move through your day, through your week, through your month, and your year. Inhale, the arms up overhead. Palms meet and draw down into heart center. Press that prayer into that sternum, that heart center, just to kind of really feel that space. And then again, inhaling the arms up overhead. Palms meet. Draw down into heart center as you are closing your space here, closing your time, your sacred time of renewal, self-love, and self-care. Just feel that heart space illuminated. Take a moment to breathe and maybe sense that ethereal flame now burning just a little bit brighter, or maybe a lot brighter. Whew. And last time, inhale the arms up overhead, palms meet, draw down into heart center, just kind of sealing this all in, letting it permeate all the layers of your body and your aura and your energy. Setting that intention to always do our best within practice and in the world. It is all a practice anyways, isn't it? May we be safe and protected. May we be healthy and nourished. May we love and be loved, and may we truly be happy. Namaste. May your practice bring you peace, and may you share this peace with the world. Ah, yay. I'm kind of really amazed at these cards. I'm going to show these cards and then I will end the recording in memoriam and Hecate. Beautiful. Thank you to whoever joined us in a different time and space. You obviously can sense the benefits. I'm tongue-tied right now, so I'm like not even like coming up with words. So I'm just going to end the recording. Thanks for joining.